What's going on, everybody? It's the one and only Q here from Retro Q Gaming, and today we're going to talk a little bit about anniversaries. Now, particularly this time, we're talking about The Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary as a series, as it originally started back in 1986. Now, the big question here is what, if anything, do we expect Nintendo to do about it this year? What way will they celebrate it? We already have a way that they're terribly, if you ask me, celebrating the Mario's 35th anniversary over the last couple of months slash this year and all as well. Hell, they even started it late last year in 2020 with that awful 3D All-Stars collection. Now, real quick, just as an aside before we get into it, I absolutely despise anniversaries simply because I can't go on Twitter every single damn day without seeing a stupid account doing something stupid along the lines of this day 17 years ago, X game released in X region. I mean, bruh, it's not 5 years, it's not 10 years, it's not 20, it's not 25, it's not 30, 35. It's some obscure random number. It's like 18 years ago, 19 years ago. And then 6 months later, you have the same damn account doing the same damn thing for when it released in a different region. And they do this for every single game, or at least practically it feels like every single game because I see it multiple times a day. I hate these people so much. Anyway, back to the point. So, what, if anything, are Nintendo going to do for Zelda's 35th anniversary? Now, there's two things to take into consideration here. Number one, we probably won't properly see anything. I say see as in, realistically, tangibly get anything before March 31st, 2021. You might remember that date as a day that will live on in infamy, as Nintendo are removing from all types of physical and digital sales the Mario 35th anniversary collection. Frankly, that collection needs to go away, but you get the idea. The point is, it's limited time only, and it wouldn't surprise me if Nintendo went from, hell, even April 1st when all this stuff starts. It's all basically one big joke anyway, so they might as well do it then. Now, considering and concerning announcements and what, well, chances are we will probably see something, at least the announcement of something, on February 21st. Because February 21st is the day that the Legend of Zelda series actually properly started. February 21st, 1986 was when the first Zelda game released in Japan. So maybe that day we see a big slew of announcements, we see all this celebration and praise, or maybe even a few days prior they announce, hey, on the 21st we're going to do a Zelda 35th anniversary direct. And maybe they do something for that. Now, of course, the big question at the end of the day is if Nintendo were to do something regarding a 35th anniversary celebration, maybe new games, remasters, collections, ports, whatever it is, what do you think we'll see and what do you hope we'll see? Well, first off, I expect if they do anything, it will all be timed exclusive crap because you will have the things, available from April 1st until August 31st or something like that. Because, hey, it's Nintendo. And they'll probably do some realistic, big, crappy, entry-level, bare minimum, basic bitch ports and conversions and collections. So if you ask me, don't be surprised if you see a collection of maybe 3 or 4 different Zelda games, 3D ones, with no improvements or changes whatsoever. So maybe you'll get a game card collection with, I don't know, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and maybe even Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. If you're lucky, they'll put the HD versions on there. After all, those ones do exist on the Wii U. But the only important thing to me for all of this, if you ask me, the only one that I actually care about, is I want to see a Skyward Sword HD remaster. Now, the key important things to take away from this is it needs to be updated, even though Nintendo don't like to do such a thing. Now, there are usually, when you look at the Mario collection, there's no updates on them. But when you look at an individual HD remaster, you might get some changes and all and improvements in there. Look at Wind Waker HD, look at Twilight Princess HD, but more recently and more notably, look at the obvious connection to Mario. With the Mario 35th anniversary, they announced Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. They rejigged some of the mechanics because there's no touchscreen on there's no touchscreen if you're playing on the docked mode. compared to the Wii U. So they rejigged some of it and added in some new additional content. So I'm hoping they do the same thing with Skyward Sword. One of the big things I've always miscommunicated when I was dying for a remaster of Skyward Sword was the removal of motion controls. Now, what I actually meant by that, I only realized it when I sat down to make this video, is that I'm not specifically asking for the 100% removal of motion controls. If you want, you can still play them with the Joy-Cons. After all, they are just the Wiimote 2.0s, because the Switch is the Wii 2.0. Unlike the Wii U, which was an absolute failure. But what I'm looking for is proper controller support for the entire game. What I mean by that is let me use a Pro Controller, because that still has the motion controls and all in it. So I can play 99% of the game completely with the controller, except for those 1% of puzzles and select dungeons that require motion, in which case I can just use the Pro Controller. I don't want to have to pick up Joy-Cons. I don't want to have to be limited to playing with Joy-Cons. Because frankly, if it's a Joy-Con only thing, I'm not buying it. I refuse to play stuff with those controllers. The same way I refuse to play stuff with the Wiimotes. Certain things, at least anyway, with the Wiimotes. But I absolutely 100% refuse to play anything if I'm limited to Joy-Cons. So whatever they do, give us that Skyward Sword HD remake, or HD remaster. Rejig it to support the Pro Controller, and the one or two required motion things, let me do them with the Pro Controller. Anyway, I love Zelda, for the most part. Link to the Past, greatest game in the series. All I care about at the moment is a Skyward Sword HD remaster that is properly done and rejigged. Nintendo will still probably fuck it up with zero effort collections, but hey, what do you expect from them?